They're claiming it's the biggest gathering of non-religious people in history. Tens of thousands of atheists expected on the Mall in D.C. this weekend for the Reason Rally.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, the Reason Rally turned into a complete lulz fest.
This is the largest gathering of non-religious Americans in history. We're expecting 30,000 people right here at the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh, really? Let's see if we can compare that to a 30,000-seater stadium. Now let's take a look at the Reason Rally again.
This is the largest gathering of non-religious Americans in history. We're expecting 30,000 people right here at the Lincoln Memorial.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Yep, it was a superb lulz fest. So I'm just going to share some of its greatest hits with you. It started well enough with this tweet from the black non-believers. Now let's just ignore for the moment that if they'd had a table for, say, white non-believers, everyone would have lost their shit with just how racist that was. But let me just ask you the question, what's wrong with this picture? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. If you said, what the hell's the white guy doing wearing a black non-believer's t-shirt, you are of course wrong. And you should be immediately expelled by the code of conduct for your racist harassment of the trans-skinned. I mean, you're not one of those trans-skin denying bigots now, are you? In fact, now that I look at it, there is only one black non-believer who is actually black. And they're the only one not wearing a black non-believer t-shirt. So what is actually wrong with this picture? It is, of course, the sign. Walking by sight, not by faith, which is clearly mocking the visually impaired, and this horrifically ableistic slur was somehow tolerated by the Reason Rally's staff. So the Reason Rally started well enough with this totally on-key singing by the male gay choir. Now at this point I should stress I've not done anything to clean up the professionally streamed Reason Rally audio, who saw fit at times to either broadcast just half of the audio or sometimes no audio. And that's when the stream was even working, and even when it was working it was rarely synced, leading to people joking that they'd spent so much of their $1 million on the Reason Rally that they decided to economize on the stream by not broadcasting the audio. Anyway, I'll leave you to admire the beautiful singing of the opening of the Reason Rally by the male gay choir. But be advised, the singing is best appreciated with either earplugs or the volume turned right down, or ideally off.
But what I do know from where I sit here is that there is every indication going in that the Reason Rally is going to be a fantastic event and an exhibition of the atheist secular movement at its best.
So after the gay choir, it of course went on to the straight, real intersectional issues of race with this guy from Mad Art Lab.
Part of a group of artists called Mad Art Lab, where art meets science and skepticism.
Mad Art Lab, of course, was headed by Surly Amy, the woman who just wanted common sense codes of conduct at conferences, like no fake jewelry or offending people.
We're not asking for anything crazy, just basic rules so that we can say, you know, the sort of thing like making fake jewelry and intentionally offending people is not okay.
This is how Amy describes herself. Surly Amy is the fearless leader and managing editor of this team of super intelligent and highly creative artists posed to take over the universe. Yada yada yada. She is also the creator and maker of Surly Ramics, which were those little ceramic pendants which essentially became the uniform for the Atheism Plus cult. Anyway, it's good to see them represented at the largest gathering of the non-religious in history. Let's see what he's got for us, shall we?
Victor Harris, ladies and gentlemen. Victor Harris.
Good morning, DC. My name is Victor Harris. I do have an album for sale. It's called In Reason I Trust. It can be found on iTunes. I also have some drop cards with me. Raping them of the only home they ever knew. These same gods enabled our enslavers to see us as nothing but chattel. My ancestors prayed to different gods who, as far as I can tell, never lifted a finger to help them, who, as far as they could tell, never lifted a finger to help them, so it only figures that they would adopt the god of their enslavers.
I talked about the American Humanist Association and its sort of recommitting to having social justice as a central part of its activism. Humanism and social justice must go hand in hand, and the American Humanist Association demonstrated this by announcing the creation of the Black Humanist Alliance and the LGBTQ Humanist Alliance and the Feminist Humanist Alliance.
And I can hardly believe that we have shaken off the shackles of slavery and yet remain shackled so willingly to the religion of our former masters.
And believe me, I could just go on and on with this failfest. Like this comedian.
Gentlemen, he is very funny, very bright. Be sure to check out online. You can download wherever you can buy DVDs, his Atheist Christmas.
Who oddly also seemed to have a bit of an issue with the code of conduct.
Knock, knock! The atheist! I'm sorry, never mind. I forgot, we don't actually knock on your door and bother you when you're doing other things. That's what happens when you tell a comedian they have to be family friendly. They come out and they tell knock-knock jokes. You're welcome. They did that to me.
Incidentally, I'm not so sure I believe a single word of this comedian and his tepidly funny act. I mean, let's just compare this to one of his previous acts, shall we?
All right, I think you guys all know how knock-knock jokes work. Knock, knock. Who's there? The atheist. The atheist who? You know what? I'm sorry. Never mind. I forgot. We don't actually knock on your door.
And let's just see how hard Mr. Social Justice Warrior comedian Keith Lowell Jensen bombs when he's merely asked to step in for a few minutes.
Hello, there it is. Oh, I'm a suitable substitute for Wu-Tang Clan, right? I know you're excited about Wu-Tang Clan, but here's a dorky white guy to talk to you some more. Come on, everybody give me love.
More peaceful world. Please clap.
I'm having a rough day. My best friend told me that he thinks that I'm paranoid. And I wasn't insulted so much as I was sad, to see that Big Pharma had gotten to him. To see that Big Pharma had gotten to him. Look, these are the jokes you get when I'm stretching, all right? You'll just deal with it, okay? I did my good stuff. Oh, da-da-da. Good or bad, it's going on my resume that I opened for Wu-Tang, so I don't really care how well. I'd like it to go better than it's going now.
And oddly, he's now blocked me on Twitter. That'll teach me to be mean to the Reason Rally. Or the wonders of crowd participation.
So, me and Liv are going to teach you the part, and then in the chorus, you're going to feel where it comes in and join in, all right? So should we show them how it goes, Liv? Give that a try? All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
Now everyone, join hands. Join hands, please. I'd like to lead you all in some swaying. Come on, pay attention. I said do it.
I can't hear, but I'm going to trust you that you guys are going to come in really, really loud when we bring it in after the chorus.
I am so proud to be a part of this movement when I see things like this happening, when I see people saying, you know what, we're going to have a Reason Rally. There are going to be thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of atheists, of secularists, of non-believers, of all stripes.
And then, of course, we had this great contribution from Kelly Carlin, daughter of George Carlin, that made me question if I'd accidentally pushed the wrong button and had somehow ended up watching a video for preschoolers.
With me, hands up. Excellent. All right. I promise it's not hard at all. So first of all, I want all of you to stand up if you are able-bodied. Let's take a big, deep breath in and out. Let your lungs, the very lungs that take in oxygen.
For this video, I wanted to focus on the positive, on some of the things in the atheist movement that I feel are really encouraging and really progressive and should give all of us who are part of the atheist community, who are interested in atheist or secular activism, some hope and some real positive feelings for the future.
I want you to look at these hands. Look down at these beautiful hands. I want you to look at these hands, look at them, and I want you to pretend that you are an alien or a visitor from another world and you have never seen a hand before in your life.
We've all learned an important lesson today. I realize now that, dude, my hands are huge.
What you hold and behold is a most unique object in the cosmos, a human hand of planet Earth.
They can touch anything but themselves. Oh, wait.
Imagine the journey of this hand in front of you, even. That at some point it had to learn to hold a spoon, write its name, wipe a tear, give some pleasure.
They call him fingers, but I never see him fing. Oh, there they go.
There is nothing like this hand in the entire universe.
Let me tell you something. People who said that the Reason Rally was going to fail because it had been taken over by SJWs.
This person is alive on planet Earth at the very same time as you.
There were people there who stood up for the importance and spoke out for the importance of standing up for trans people and gay people. Everybody cheered. There were even speakers who spoke out about the importance of working for fair and just and humane treatment for Muslims in America. And everybody cheered. Nobody booed. Nobody cried, SJW, regressive left. Everybody was on board with it. And if the people weren't on board with it, I guess they just kept their fucking mouths shut, which is just what they ought to do.
Thank you. Thank you for taking these 10 minutes with me to be human beings. Thank you for acknowledging the moment of being alive. You are all beautiful human hearts and minds, and I love seeing the humanity in all of you. Thank you.
Naturally, the Reason Rally was packed. I mean, here is Cara Santa Maria showing us the tens of thousands at the Reason Rally with this selfie from the podium. Now, I've had my issues with Cara before, most notably on how she didn't understand that it doesn't matter how secret a catalyst is, it can't violate the laws of thermodynamics. But I did at least expect her to be able to count.
How many of them are out there?
I don't know.
Well, let's help her out a little here. These coloured areas contain about 10 people. Well, that's no good. Let's do it for the foreground too. That's what about 100 people looks like. It makes my estimate that there are about 2,000 people here, 1,000 down each side, look pretty generous. Well, let's take a look at it from another angle, where it does look packed. Sure, it doesn't quite cut the mustard when you're comparing it to a 30,000-seater stadium, but whatever. Let's do the same thing again. Let's colour in areas of about 10 people, meaning that the total of all the coloured areas is about 100 people. Which again puts the estimate that there's maybe 1,000 people down each side of the reflecting pool as being pretty bloody generous. Maybe, just maybe, Cara, you ought to amend this from tens of thousands to, I don't know, maybe something a little more like this.
There's nothing wrong with it. There are dozens of us. Dozens!
And then, of course, we had Dave Silverman, who totally didn't sound crazy at this point.
If you don't have a belief in a God, let me hear you say atheist. If you want to be counted as a powerful voting bloc, say atheist. If you're there to make it easier for other atheists to come out of the closet, say atheist. If you're an atheist, scream atheist. Atheist.
What is dead may never die.
Atheist.
Thought he'd never shut up. It was a good speech.
However, for those who watched the stream, even those who didn't have audio, it was hilarious. Sadly, most of that's gone now, but this is a flavour of what you missed. The chat. Oh, the rally was an unmitigated disaster, but the live YouTube chat was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. The comment that just had me rolling was when someone said, "Say what you want about Hitler, but at least people showed up to his rallies." Just pure gold. YouTube did not disappoint. Now, many of you will be thinking, steady now, Thunderfoot, these are some of the biggest names in the secular movement. Don't they have the power to ruin you? Well, frequently I have to assess the risk of putting out a video. You know, like Draw Muhammad Day, or burning 1,000,000 Qurans, or getting Twitter banned in Pakistan. Because yeah, the bottom line is, some of these things can have real world consequences. Some of them the sort of thing that even the FBI takes seriously. Or of course, it could just be a bunch of feminists trying to get me fired and ruin my career. But yeah, nonetheless, you're absolutely right. I did assess the risk of this video. Hell yes, I'm absolutely terrified by the wrath of the socially progressive non-religious source.
I'll ruin you. You'll never waitress in Torquay again.
I mean, it's not like, say, for instance, my video on this got 50 times as many people watching it in the first 20 hours as there was at the entire Reason rally. Yeah, I'm constantly traumatized by a reoccurring nightmare of being slowly gummed to death by moronic social justice warriors who are so desperate not to hurt anyone that they pull out all of their teeth.
It's better to remind myself and to remind those of you watching that those toxic elements really don't count for much when all is said and done. They do not speak for us. They do not speak for the movement as a whole. They are not doing the hard and necessary and progressive work that is being done by the organizations that have come together to sponsor and create the Reason Rally.
Pro tip, guys, if your goal is to show how powerful the atheist bloc is,
nearly 60 million Americans have no religious affiliation whatsoever. We are the largest religious demographic growing in this country right now. And we hope to take those values and translate that into a strong voting bloc going forward.
Pulling out all your teeth for the fear of not hurting someone is just not the way to go.
That atheists are a block of voters that participate in the process, that are interested in seeing our views and our interests represented and our concerns heard out and taken seriously.
And it's a shame too, because before the Reason Rally, you may well have claimed that the atheists were a cohesive voting bloc that politicians should make some effort to appease. Instead, what you've done is simply remove that question mark altogether. You have revealed exactly what the largest gathering of the non-religious in history looks like. The only saving grace in this is that few politicians will probably ever find out about the largest gathering of the non-religious in history, because if they had, the only message that would have been sent by this is that non-religious is a voting bloc you can safely ignore without fear of reprisal.
The shameless plug. But tap that donate button on the home page and consider making a contribution, because your contributions make this event possible.
Thankfully, some of us remembered that progress frequently requires pissing people off. You know, the sort of thing that you had a code of conduct against. And honestly, I didn't mind when whole sections of the atheist movement decided they were going to make me a pariah. Because it meant that I simply didn't have to appease the sort of second-rate losers who managed to take about $1 million and get an attendance of maybe a couple of thousand at a rally. Meaning that in essence, they paid $500 for everyone who turned up. I mean, let me be clear. If you can put your hand on your heart and call the Reason Rally a success, you have no place in leadership. None. If you could blow $1 million, which was its estimated total budget, and end up with this failfest that just made the non-religious voting bloc a joke, you have no place in leadership. I mean, shit, I have a fraction of the budget of this Reason Rally that just managed to pull in an amazing 2,000 crowd, and this channel's typical daily viewership is 1 to 200,000. I mean, don't get me wrong, of the few videos I put in the Patreon supported feed and the ad revenue, I'm a very happy man. But damn it, the bottom line is I deliver the goods, not some gamma-rate failfest. So having seen all that, as you can well imagine, I am terrified that these people might make me a pariah and exclude me from this dynamic and progressive movement.
And the Reason Rally and the organizations behind it are the movement that we should be spending most of our time focused on, because they are the ones who are working to move us forward, to push us in the right direction.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!